Mountaineer Nation, let's ride.
But Don Nealon's Mountaineers enjoy walking in where angels fear to tread. As the hills of West Virginia resound with the sounds of Go Mountaineers football. Here is Harris in trouble. Stiff arms. A would-be tackler comes down over the 25 to 20. Goes around about it to 15 to 10 to 5. A touchdown, West Virginia. He did it.
Takes the Slater one-on-one with a defender. Look at that one.
West Virginia football. You know what that's about. They don't know what it's about. West Virginia football. Put all our tape on. They can shoot up on fire. We're here in the helmet.
Let them know. Leave no doubt tonight. Leave no doubt tonight. No doubt. They shouldn't have played the old Golden Boot.
It is a great night to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be.
What's going on, Mountaineer Nation? Welcome into the September 7th live stream here on the Country Roads Webcast channel. The pre-Duquesne edition, WVU Week 2, Game 2 coming up. Hoping to get their first win of the season. It's family day there at Mountaineer Field at Milan Puskar Stadium. And want to chat about it with you guys, of course. You know that we always like to release our pregame podcast, our preview podcast, where you can get our predictions ahead of time before we do our weekly live stream. So then when we come here and chat with you guys, we can get your thoughts and hear your predictions for the game. So as you see on the whiteboard behind me, that's the idea. Drop your predictions for West Virginia Duquesne in the chat. And of course, as always, any questions, comments, concerns you may have along the way. But we've got plenty of other storylines to talk about too. And joining me to help me do that are my lovely CRW co-hosts as always. We've got Steven.
What is going on, everybody?
And at Big Bubba Brad, CRW on X/Twitter there, Bradley. Still muted.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I got you. Sorry, it was a little loud last time, so I had to turn down the volume.
Nah, you're good. You're good. We all popped in right there at the about the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. Dropping right in.
Perfect. So we'll hop in here. Got some people in here. Got Kenny in here. What's going on, Kenny? Good to see you in here as always, Kenny? Brother. And Timothy Green, always loyal to tune in and chime in as well. Appreciate you guys being in here. WVU football going deep, coming in with the first prediction of the night here. Appreciate you as always. And you guys go check out WVU football going deep and putting out some awesome content over on that channel.
Yeah,
says
WVU.
Really good. I know it's been great. I just watched one of his videos he came out with today. I love the idea that he's been doing of the Sunday questions before the pregame that he did for the first game and then did for this one. It was pretty good. But having said that, he says WVU scores a minimum of 45. First, second players give up no more than 14. I felt very similar. I don't know if you watched our preview and prediction show, but that was literally my prediction was 45 to 14 because I don't think we're going to give up 20 to them. So I certainly thought we were going to keep them below that, maybe give up a couple TDs. So I was thinking 14. And I know Neil Brown has done good against FCS. We've scored 50 plus, I think, every time since he's been here almost, if I'm not mistaken, save for James Madison in his first season, even 60 against Long Island. So I was thinking around 50, but with the new clock rules, one less possession maybe with some of our younger guys in, we don't score. So that's why I went with 45 instead of 52 or 55, something like that. But having said that, Brad, I guess to lead off the night, Bradley didn't get a chance to be on our preview podcast this week. He was unfortunately traveling. So before we get into any storylines we got and some more of your all's predictions, be sure to drop those in the chat along with any other comments, questions you guys have. Bradley, what are kind of your thoughts on the matchup with Duquesne, and give us your prediction?
Yeah, so I know people have some feelings about Duquesne, and that they've got some players in Duquesne. They always try hard, champions in their own league there for a while, really winning program of the level that they're at. So you can never get too comfortable. But Neil Brown has shown a tendency to win these games the way he should, big scores to little scores. Except for I think JMU in 2020. I think that one was kind of close, or maybe his first year. One of the ones I think it was JMU game was close, and I'm not really worried about it. I think that Neil Brown's going to come in here and handle this game. I think the team's going to look good. I think it's a better team, right? And so, that's my issue's not with the team this year. My issue's with the coaching. So I think it's definitely a better team. They're going to handle it the way they should, going to win the way they should, and the rest of it, we'll see how it goes.
Right on.
Steven? Prediction score. I'll give you the score, though.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, I didn't know if I asked you for the prediction or not. I forgot. But, yeah, go ahead. Throw me your score prediction, too.
Yeah, I'm going to say 45-7.
Okay. I like it. I hope we keep them to 7. I would love to see, a shutout again.
I think
I was not so kind.
Exceptional.
Yeah, Steven, you had him scoring 30 or something.
Did I say 30?
Yeah, I was like,
Was it
damn.
30
man.
I had?
Yeah, it was like 42-30.
Yeah, Brad, I made a prediction to hopefully, bolster these guys' attitudes going into this game for that pass defense.
He's using the reverse psychology.
Yeah.
hopefully.
I'm just saying, man. I got to be hard on them until they can prove to me that they can,
Yeah. Well, I was listening to you guys talk
issues.
about it. Yeah, I was listening to you guys talk about it because I was trying to listen to the review earlier today at work. I didn't get all the way through it, but I was trying to listen to some of it. And I was thinking about groups that really have to show out, right? So, going into this game, I don't really want to see us run the ball at all. I know our run game can work, and I know our offensive line can work. I don't need to see it to believe it. You know what I mean? And so it's one of those things where it's I hope we just throw the ball 70 times and just force our quarterbacks to work on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing, I was talking about. I hope, as much as I know CJ and wanted to see him get a ton of carries this season, this game, I think, lighten his workload. You know what you got with him. You saw the offensive line, good run blocking. So I'm with you. Let's use this. Let's work on our downfield passing game a little bit. Let's let Garrett see what he can do with his arm. Maybe he'll quiet some of the naysayers that are thinking that he can't pass after that, performance against Penn State, where I've said, and others have said maybe nerves were involved a little bit. And then, of course, let's see what Nico can do. He's going to get some action in this game as well. So although I think we will still see some, good things from the running game, I say, let's manage CJ a little bit in this one. And for that reason, I think in the preview pod we were talking college fantasy football, and I started him. I actually took him out last second tonight. I always set my lineups whenever the game starts, so Wednesday or Thursday. And so this week it was Thursday, so I set it right before that Louisville game, and I actually switched him out for the UCF running back just because I don't know how much he's going to play, and I don't want to risk it. But he'll be back in the lineup next week for sure.
Yeah, I just feel like you're not proving anything to me by proving you can run on Duquesne. You know what I mean?
Right, and the only thing that I think that I want to see from the running game is, see Jaheim White. I do want to see some of that. Him, as you mentioned, the receiving game. Neil Brown said on his show earlier today that Rodney Gallagher is going to play more this Saturday, and that in retrospect that he regretted not playing in more this past Saturday.
Yeah.
Which honestly, I think you guys would agree the hell out of with me on that. Which I think all of Mountaineer Nation's yeah, why didn't you? You even agree that the moment's never too big for the kid, and he's been balling all offseason. Why not let him touch the field?
I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't play RG3 again. I wouldn't be surprised. Literally, it's just the tendency that we have right now. It's just they're gonna play. The freshmen are gonna play.
He'll probably come out 4 wide and with a 4 wide receiver set so that he can have him in on the slot and start him. He'll probably start him in this game to make up for it.
Yeah, I'll probably start him in this game and play him very minimally throughout the game. So that's another really an issue that I have with Neil Brown is his usage of freshmen.
Yeah, he's never been good at it.
Complete lack of confidence. The man he doesn't trust in his newcomers at all.
Oh, I think he's that way with youngsters in general. It's he has to wait till they're in the program 2 or 3 years till he trusts that he can play them. There's a few exceptions to that rule, obviously, when some guys are just uber talented that, CJ Donaldson's of the world, stuff that you can't keep off the field. But, people were clamoring for Garrett Green for a long time. They thought he was better. You know, some of the guys that are finally playing now were guys that people were saying we should have been playing all along. Andrew Wilson-Lamp at corner, Trey Lathan finally getting in there at linebacker, and he looked great. And, you know, we were wanting to see him more last season. Didn't see him a ton, you know, things like that.
Yeah, and I would even say that, like, I have those same feelings right now with Garrett Green and Nico Marchiol. Like, Garrett Green, like fine against Penn State, it could have just been the nerves, it could have been rocking. But with how close the competition was supposed to be looking like all summer, yeah, Garrett Green pulled away in the end. But, I mean, he didn't do anything to set himself apart in the first game either, you know what I mean?
Right.
And that's, you know, unfortunate. And, you know, it's against Penn State. Maybe he does it against Pitt. But I think that, me personally, I would love to see the quarterback battle open back up and really give them both equal chance, bare minimum, against Duquesne. I think that you throw Nico Marchiol out there and just see if he catches lightning in the bottle, just see if he's got the swagger, just see if something gets clicking, you know, give them a chance of, like, give us a chance as fans to see it. You know what I mean? Like, show us what you were seeing all summer that told you that Garrett Green was doing better than Nico Marchiol. Like, let us see it. You know what I mean? And, like, you're going to be able to see it some against Duquesne, but let's not make it trash time.
Yeah, I would, in an ideal world for myself, I would, because I still want to see what we can see from GG. I know we've seen at the end of last season a little sample size, and he beats Oklahoma, but I want to see what he does when it's his team, more or less. You know what I mean? Like, I know we got Penn State, but I think that's a skewed view. I think Penn State's very good this year. I really think that they only lose one football game at most this year. That's my honest opinion. So I really think that West Virginia, you haven't really gotten an accurate description of what they're going to be with Garrett Green at quarterback, on offense anyway. I know like I said, you know what CJ can do. I want to see what GG and these receivers can do. So I at least want to see what they got for a half. But then for the second half, possibly, like you say, and I think Nico should come in and run the show. And then we could, you know, let's see what Neil's been talking about and how that competition's been so good for 2 years in a row now.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know? But, I mean, let's just say that, like, Garrett Green comes out and he does good enough to get up a couple scores, you know, going into the third quarter. We're pretty comfortable. But then, like, Nico Marchiol comes out and his timing just looks impeccable. He's making really great throws. He's really on top of it and is impressing. Do you go into Pitt with the idea that, like I said, like, the quarterback battle's back on? Or are you just like, that looks good, but let me start with Garrett Green again? You know what I mean? And that's just –
I think unless GG's absolutely abysmal, I don't think you start that conversation back up.
Yeah,
or unless Nico's like just
or unless
ungodly.
Nico, I was gonna say, unless he sets the world on fire.
Right.
But what I think is, and this is what I said on the preview podcast, basically, is I think Nico definitely should get at least a half. I would play him 3/4, maybe even, because you want him to get that experience. Because that game 3 is, we know how important it is. Not only for this season, it's important for Neil Brown. You know, the future of this football program. There's a lot of things hanging in the balance in that game, not to mention who it is and the rivalry that it is and everything that already goes into play with it. But I think that you got to have Nico ready for that, because Neil Brown can't afford to lose that game. So if something does happen and Garrett Green does look bad, he can't be scared to play Nico. And if he doesn't get him experience in this game, that would be his excuse to why he didn't put Nico in against Pitt. So I want to see him get Nico that experience in this game, and a lot of those young guys, because I want them to be able to be playing in that week 3 game, because that's what we're looking forward to. You know, let's be honest, that week 3 game is maybe the season in a lot of people's eyes, you know.
I would say I'm
myself included in that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like I'm very not too far off of that.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think all those thoughts just scare me, that, like, I don't think Neil Brown's going to pull the trigger and really give Nico a shot, and that's just, like, terrifying. You know what I mean? Because he's always got his guy that he does his thing, and it just hasn't worked out so far. You know what I mean? Like, we've got no proof to show that it's ever worked out. And like we said, he's just always been afraid to give the freshman the shot. So even if Garrett Green was struggling against Pitt, I worry that he still wouldn't give Nico the shot. And that's why I'm like, I want to see it more of a competition, because I need to know that he's willing to pull that trigger if need be. And I don't want it to seem like it's Garrett Green or nothing at this point.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And hopefully we see some of these young guys get on the field against Duquesne. I've got the numbers up following game 1, the team statistics heading into this game, courtesy of WVUsports.com and their preview article from John Antonik for these numbers and the graphic here that's been shared on the screen that I just wanted to pull up kind of while we were giving opening thoughts about Duquesne and letting Bradley share his prediction. But want to hear your all's thoughts on the matchup with Duquesne, and more importantly, your score predictions. Drop them in the chat below. We'll share them throughout as we go throughout the live stream here, and got some other news topics we're going to touch on. We'll dive into those now. People in here on the stream, but before we do, want to remind you guys that are in here, whether you're watching this live with us or if you're watching this after the fact on a playback, do us a favor, hit the thumbs up button, give us a like on the video. It'll really help not only its performance, but future videos performances here on the channel as well. And if you're a West Virginia fan, be sure to subscribe to us. Helps us, helps you, helps get more of this Mountaineer sports content out to Mountaineer Nation. So kicking it off with one more thing about Duquesne. I don't know, some people may have seen this, some people may have not, but I wanted to share it because I always like these, and this one's under like 30 seconds, so it'll be fun. If I can hit the right button and not close it off, would be a good way to be able to share it. But here we go.
Is this the uniforms?
This is the uni reveal.
These are, you're going to love them, Brad. Possibly my new favorite. Front runner.
These are new. They haven't won it.
Oh, yeah.
Fire, buddy. Absolutely.
Yeah, so let's see if I can get a still shot here up on the screen. So that's what we're going with, gentlemen. The gold helmet with the all gray jerseys. I know some of the old heads I've seen were not happy with the look, but me, I'm somebody that's in the minority already because I love gold. If it was up to me, I'd go all gold all the time. I love it. I was dying for gold helmets for the longest time until we finally got them. And to see the gold helmets with the grays, which I think are absolutely fire. I've got a gray Sam James in the closet. I got another gray coming in the mail soon. I think I got a Rodney Gallagher, actually. Matter of fact, coming in, a gray Rodney Gallagher, I think. So, but I love this combo. What are your all's thoughts?
It's no true.
I think, like I said, I think they're my absolute top runners for a favorite in my mind. I don't know. They're up there with the whites, the all whites, I guess, for me.
Yeah.
I know for you, the all golds.
Yeah, see, the all golds are my number one. These would be up there. I mean, I'm not including the country roads, just out of our base stuff. This is definitely up there. I like this the gray look better with the gold helmet than I do with the blue helmet. Without us having the gray helmet. I missed the gray helmet we had when we had the grays back in 2012, I think it was, when we had the gray helmet with them. That was nice.
Yeah, that was when Gino and them were playing. That was nice.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to be like too overhype about them and call them my favorite too early, but they're definitely up there.
Yeah, it's I'd say it's definitely a top 5 for me that we've had in this set that we've had since 2019. It's top 5 combos, maybe top 3 since that we've worn. Yeah, we're probably in the minority there. Most people probably hate them. They're going to say it's not enough blue and gold.
Embrace change, man. Embrace change.
Hey, man, at least they got
in the world
blue and gold
college
on
athletics. That's always going to be changing.
But that's what I like about the gray jerseys that we have, that I try and point out to people that hate on the gray jerseys, is at least on the gray, you get the blue with the gold outline. If you look at our regular blues, it's just the solid gold numbers. And then our regular whites, it's just the solid blue numbers. Yep. I love the gold outline. So I wish on our blue numbers, they had either the white outline around the gold number or a little thinner blue line. And then on our white jerseys, we need a gold outline of the numbers. I think it would look so much better.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least with the Steel Gray's official color on the color palette now. So I don't understand why people are,
whenever they did
it's been
update.
incorporated in basketball for years. I mean, early 2000s we had gray jerseys in basketball, I remember. So I mean, I don't understand the hate on the gray. At least I can understand. I myself would love black jerseys. I think you could incorporate, a coal rush, forever, if you will. You know what I mean? Look what Texas Tech did with their stadium and the lights. And I think you guys would agree that if West Virginia could do that with the lighting in their stadium and just like instantly turn on and off, think about this, a coal rush at WVU where you turn off the lights and you have a coal miner's helmet coming out of the tunnel. You got fog rolling out with the team. Oh, man. Night games in Morgantown will be forever changed if you could do that. Roll black jersey out, like a coal dusted uniform out with it.
That would be fire.
That's why I like the black jersey idea. But I can understand people hating on the black jerseys more than the steel grays.
Well,
when
here's
it's,
my thing is like, why can't we have them in football ever? We've already had them in basketball. Like, all right,
Right,
at least
right.
give football a chance with some black jerseys. And I know we had
Yeah.
the Nike Pro Combats, but those were like gray and dark gray. They still weren't black,
Yeah, and it was predominantly white jerseys with gray
with gray and dark
and
gray
dusted
on them.
accents. Yeah.
Which those
The
were up
helmets were
there
still
too. I think, I mean, like all-time favorite jerseys for me, any variation of the gold, I love. As far as set, it's the 2007 to 2012. I love those with the, the stripes, double stripes, the Pat White and Slayton years that they got during their junior year or whatever. That's my favorite set, but I love it. But then my favorites overall, Country Road uniform, number one, the one that we had last year, the full set. I like the gold one this year, but I like the one last year better. Country Roads and Nike Pro Combat are my top two.
See, I'm a traditionalist. My top favorite jersey or uniform of all time is somewhat like the Gary Steele's era in that time. Whenever they had the Big East on the one shoulder and then the WV on the other shoulder, and it was just the traditional look of West Virginia. And I think I've said that before. I think that's the one thing that I would change about this current uniform is I would take the numbers off of the top of the shoulder and put the logo on the side of the shoulder.
Yeah,
I would I think these uniforms will be absolutely perfection, and these will be my all-time favorites.
I would add a stripe on the pants too.
I might add one of those also, just for all time's sake.
Yeah,
and it gives you a modern look too.
Let's see what everybody's saying in here. Silas likes Nike Pro Combat unis as well. Yeah, I would like to see us, get some more. I think though, what did we get through 2019? So, it'll be probably another couple of years. We'll be getting a new set here before long. I'm sure they usually run 4 or 5 years, I think. So, Silas is not a fan of the helmet with the gray. To each their own.
Yeah.
Well,
everybody got their own opinion.
Like it, but like I said, I think if gray helmet, it might be even better. But I like it with the gold helmet better than the blue. But I feel you, Silas. Appreciate you as always, man.
Absolutely, I love with these uniforms.
The one combo that I really don't like is like the white on top most of the time. Like the white helmets, I think just look like pimples half the time running around. Like white on blue. Like just not a big fan.
Yeah, I don't like the white without the white jerseys either. I don't like it with the home sets really.
I'm different in that too because I like the. Whenever Will Greer was here, they went with a blue helmet with a white face mask and a white logo on the side of the helmet.
Oh, I remember that. I remember when I had the white,
I really liked
WV
that.
on the, I didn't like it.
See, I like the blue and the white. See, I love when we can incorporate all of our colors, but I love that we can, I don't know. I love the plainness sometimes. You know what I mean? Like I like a gold and white, and then I like just a blue and white.
Yeah, a lot of people have been making the push back to like glossy. How you guys feel about like the glossy helmets?
I think we should have a mix.
I was about to say, why not do a little bit of both? Why not have a matte version and glossy? Because I know some teams do that already. I would love to see us just have variations because some people have been clamoring for us to bring back the glossy ones for a while. So, let's do both.
I think we should have a gold or a matte and a gloss of each color.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would be dope.
Different.
That would be dope.
I think that would be.
Kenny agrees with you on the blackout night.
Hey, let's make it happen, man. Let's
do it. I know they were pushing it real hard back then. I think that was 2018. They had pages on Facebook for it and everything.
Yeah, but now that you have like the actual technology to make it happen, I think that was the real hindrance for me back then was. Do you understand how long it takes for stadium lights to turn off and on, or at least the traditional kind of stadium light, the kind that are in Milan Pushkar right now, but. I'm telling you, go look at that video of Texas Tech if you haven't seen it already. But their lights are literally, they turn on as fast as the ones in your room do, and they're like they remind me of like concert lights because they can turn and change colors and do all kinds of crazy stuff, and they can actually have light shows in their stadium with those. But I think that for a West Virginia fan, it can be very exciting for something like that.
Yeah, we just don't got the money for that, I guess.
Yeah, not currently. I wouldn't say, but that's the thing. West Virginia's put so much money into that football stadium for the past few years, and I've told you guys of the rumors that I've heard that I don't really want to divulge on live right now. But future plans for what may be.
Yeah,
it makes
you
no
never
sense.
know. It could be in the cards, but you never know. You
makes
never
no
know.
sense.
But anyway, now that we've divulged into rabbit hole of uniform talk. You never know where we may take things. But having said that, let's get back to the main topics here that we got planned out, which of course is going to be getting your all score predictions for WVU versus Duquesne mainly, and talking a little bit about that game. But before we talk some more football, I encourage you guys to continue to drop your score predictions in the chat, or any other questions you have. We'll touch on those. We do have some WVU basketball news to talk about today, gentlemen, as WVU basketball may have completed the roster. I think they still have one more spot left if they want it. But how about them adding a 7-footer to the basketball roster? Coming on as a walk-on, another international player, West Virginia, going to have several of those on the roster this season, courtesy of Ethan Bach over at WVSportsNow.com for this article. But Ali Ragab officially joins the West Virginia roster, signed today, announced officially in a press release from the university that he will be a walk-on. He is 7 feet tall, 270 pounds. Josh Eilert's comments say Ali is an outstanding student, a hard worker, and a great teammate who will be extremely beneficial in helping us prepare for our opponents. With this size, he will provide a different perspective in our practices and in our game preparation. Ali has a strong work ethic who will fit well with our program. He last played for Gannon University the past 2 seasons, averaged 3 points, 3 rebounds, played just under 10 minutes. He's a native of Cairo, Egypt. In West Virginia, we know was needing help in the front court, needing big men. So good to add Ragab to the roster, and it's awesome to add a 7-footer anytime you can, especially with the height and weight that he has. 7 foot 270. I was listening to Sportsline earlier tonight, and they said that that's legit too. He's actually that big. Coming in as a junior, 2 years of eligibility to play, adds to the front court already of West Virginia that's very strong with Jesse Edwards and Akuka Cook and Quinn Slazinski, all other transfers that have come in. But thoughts on the addition of Ali Ragab, Stephen?
From Eilert's comments, it seems to me like he's going to play more of a quote-unquote practice squad role. I don't really know if we'll see too much, especially early on, of this guy into the season. But what I do think that he does is, like he said, provides a great size in practice to be able to prepare these guys for games. And if he does get in games, I mean, we've got to have one of the tallest rosters in all of college basketball at this point with how much size we have under the rim. So I'm excited about it. I started seeing pictures of the guy floating around yesterday, and not to be disrespectful at all, but I was just wondering, like, who in the hell is this? and then today
I never heard of him either
seeing,
until they released started releasing that he was going to come on and join the team. But I didn't know if it was going to be scholarship or walk on. So until today, but coming on as a walk on. So who knows how much playing time he'll see early? Maybe a bit of a project, but definitely with that size can at least help you get some rebounds and do some rim protecting a couple minutes a game, maybe.
Yeah, I'd like to see him lose a little bit of that weight though.
Yeah, he's going to have to, because that's one thing I heard Coach Eilert say. He was on 3 guys this week, and West Virginia's going to run a little bit more on offense. But thoughts on that in a second. Brad, I want to get your thoughts first on this addition real quick.
Yeah, I was going to say, worst comes to worst, and he does make it on the court. You're adding 7 foot to the court, so
right,
can't go wrong there.
Yeah, but I did want to get your all's thoughts since we're on the topic of WVU basketball real quick momentarily before we shift gears and talk more WVU football. Josh Eilert on 3 guys. I don't know if you guys got a chance to catch it, but one of the things that stood out to me from his comments was something that was kind of expected, I think. West Virginia is going to run more on offense this season, and that really is exciting. He said they're going to play fast on offense, and that's one thing he has said. They're not really going to change too much defensively from the past in the program, but offensively they've got some ideas they want to do, and I think running is going to be fun. It's going to make this basketball team probably more exciting to watch, because say what you want, whether you're a Huggins lover or hater, there were certainly times the offense had scoring droughts over the years, and it was anything but fast pace, I guess. So it's certainly going to be different on offense. But what are your all's thoughts there about Josh Eilert's comments, Stephen?
I'm absolutely excited, and you guys, I've never been shy about how much I loved Huggins and how his coaching ability, but I couldn't agree with you more. There were more than a few times where I was disappointed in the production of the offense. Especially go through a whole offseason and you never stop hearing about how many shots that they make, and then you go into a season and you can't seem to hit hit a single shot for the first 10 minutes of a game sometimes. So that's really what I'm excited about, is to see if we can run fast, but can we make shots? So I'm definitely excited to see how improved that is. I don't expect, like I said, the defense has always been a staple for Huggins, and Josh Eiler has been Huggins' assistant for 20 or been on a staff for 20 years now. So I don't expect the defensive side of the ball to change all too much, but definitely exciting.
Offense sounds exciting. Brad, what about you? Any thoughts there, WVU basketball wise?
Yeah, no, I think it just kind of comes back to what we kind of talked about when this all first was going down with Bob Huggins. And this, if you watch the show, I was getting a little critical of Bob Huggins in the last couple of years anyway. I'll be very excited to see our basketball team with a different offense. I'm so excited to see somebody else run the team. Not that I didn't love Bob Huggins. Definitely had a lot of issue with what happened there at the end. But I'm so excited to see a Mountaineer basketball team that just is going to be different. I definitely loved what I got in the prime time of my Bob Huggins experience, but I was just missing that so much the last few years. And I think that, our basketball program could just be so much more if we had somebody that was more up to date with the current game.
Yeah. I will say I'm with the current state of the football team. It's kind of hard to believe that I'm saying this, but I don't believe that I have ever been more cautiously optimistic about a West Virginia team in any sport. From the talent that we've been able to add through all of that, and going through what we did for the past few months with everything that happened with Huggy, I want to believe that we are going to be or at least decently good, a decently good basketball team this year. But I'm still in that realm of thinking that, man, I really hope that the football team's already in a pivotal point of our program's history. I mean, we've talked about that countless times, but I think that the basketball team just as much so is in one of those because when you're going through a coaching change, if we can't get the wheels going on that at least semi-early with him, I mean, he's only there for 1 year. I get that. But then you're going to have to go on a coaching carousel hunt. I know, Brad. I know. If he does that, I hope he does.
Maybe.
I hope he does. I really do truly hope he does.
I'm starting to get sold on him more and more, especially the more interviews I hear with him and stuff. I don't know.
And I do too,
we'll see.
Gordon Gee has already said, and I'm not even going to say that I'm the biggest fan of Gordon Gee, but he's
that
already
man might not even be here in a year. That man's got no comments.
It's very true. That's very true.
But he also got a year extension on his contract too. So we just extend everybody's contract around here.
I don't think that. I feel like this is unprecedented times for WVU athletics. I really truly do.
Kind of is.
It's so different.
I've been toying around with it because I like to write articles every now and then. And one of the ones that's been really rolling through my mind is just how this is going to be a historic year for Mountaineer athletics in a good way or a bad way. You know what I mean? It's one of those things our football team is going to really go one of two ways after this year. You know what I mean? I don't think there's much chance for just, and our basketball team is about to take either a giant step forward or maybe even a giant step back. You know what I mean? But it's going to be historic here because that team's going to have a chance to band together and go through something that not a lot of teams have gotten to go through. You know what I mean? They got a common goal, something to drive for. The guys that decided to stay, they've got something that's really motivating them. And so they've really got a chance to be something special. And that's another historic piece to it. It's just there's so much potential. And no matter what happens after this year, we're going to be at a different time of Mountaineer athletics probably.
Right.
Absolutely different.
Well, because of that reason, because of the potential, if you don't do well, like you said, I feel like it's just the opposite. As much as it can motivate you in the future and build momentum for you in the future, it can go just as much the opposite way, and put us behind as a program. And that's where I think we are as a football program. And Neil Brown's such a pivotal point right now with that because, in my mind, if you have even a 6-6 year. And you do, when in the hell? I'm with Pat McAfee on that. When in the world did we become just okay with that? We're yep, that's just what we do.
Pat McAfee was spitting some facts.
Yes, he was.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
So, and I think if it's anybody that's going to remind people of that on a national stage, I think Pat McAfee's doing a great job. And think what you will, I know that we're all fans, but I know a lot of people are pretty upset with how he handles himself on the air. But you know what? Hey, he's himself, and that's what I love about him.
Yeah, exactly.
But to continue, if we go 6-6 this year, Neil Brown stays. We've already talked about that because we can't afford the buyout right now because of, aforementioned Gordon Gee. Then we do that again next year. The coaching hunt that we are going to go on, Colorado's situation doesn't happen hardly, if ever. That was a unprecedented thing that we've seen at Colorado with Deion Sanders. I think they're going to be a very, very good team this year. They're not going undefeated or anything, but I do think that they have two strong Heisman candidates, and they only won one football game last year. And that's what I'm referencing. Those don't happen all the time. West Virginia certainly is not in a position to hire a candidate that's going to turn your program around like that. So the point that I'm trying to make is if Neil Brown has a losing season this year, has a losing season next year, he's obviously out. The next guy that we get in, how long are we going to wait for him to build our program up to the point to where we know we can be?
Well, I mean, to push back on that, you look at teams like, and we've argued this a lot, you look at teams like Kansas. That was a quick freaking turnaround. That didn't take 3 or 4 years, right? You look at teams. Not
to be negative Nancy or anything, Kansas has basketball, so Kansas is going to be relevant no matter what. You know what I mean? Just like UNC is going to be relevant in football, or relevant no matter what. So they're going to have people wanting to come coach at their schools because of the money that those schools get. If West Virginia football and basketball fall off, we're Vanderbilt, buddy. We ain't got it.
Well, you're right, but I think that, while it is a pivotal point, I think that we're also in a good position to potentially succeed. And that's why I'm trying to get in Neil Brown's corner as much as possible because, like I said, this season is big, and we already know that. We've gone over this ad nauseum. But to me, you are talking about it's a pivotal point, right? It's on a hinge. It's this way or this way. And the thing that it's hinging right here on for Neil Brown, in my opinion, is the Pitt game. It's going to send it one way or the other way. But before we get there, we got to go through Duquesne. So let's talk a little bit about Duquesne, gentlemen. Kenny, appreciate you with the $2 super chat. That means a lot. Appreciate you doing that and chiming in with your score. Ace, he says WVU wins 67-0. I like it. That'd be what is that?
Right. We'll send you $4 back.
Yeah.
Hey.
We'll get your $2 back plus some, or maybe we'll just send you some merch. But I think it was 66-0 against Long Island, wasn't it? So you never know. Or 66-7, something like that. It was something like that.
About that. That was a pretty good game.
Yeah.
I think, and I wanted to say that. I know I've been hard on them, and I know it's a pivotal point, but I think we'll get there. I'm a true believer that we will get there. It's just that's how important this time in Mountaineer sports is. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. It really is. It's very important right now. But I think that we're also coming into a good spot right now in the new Big 12 where we can really compete with a lot of these teams. We're on a lot more level playing field than with Texas and Oklahoma gone. With the teams that remain, we recruit similar, spending similar. NIL, we're actually ahead of a lot of them, reportedly. So I think that we're in a good spot potentially. We'll just have to see how things go over this year and the next couple of years, as that's when we really got to, hopefully make a complete 180 and be going in the right direction. And we'll see what happens. But let's see if we can catch up on some of your all score predictions here. Timothy Green says 55-10. Let's go Mountaineers. Appreciate you, Timothy. And I want to encourage everyone else, drop your score predictions for West Virginia Duquesne in the chat. We'll share them here on the screen and talk a little bit more West Virginia Duquesne. Let's see who else we got in here. BJ, the Mountaineer guy, says 52-13. Appreciate you as always, man. Coming up, everybody's got some faith in the Mountaineer offense, and looks like the defense
they do.
Might hold a little bit. Scrolling through here. I'm way behind on the comments, guys. Sorry, bear with me here.
I kind of went off on a tangent, so we can blame it on me.
Nah, we've been having some good discussions though. We us, we always might go down some type of rabbit hole, but it's been good. It's been good. Kenny says that guy's actually 7'2" though. Talking about him, so that's even better. Coos, got Coos in here. What's up, brother?
Hey,
what's
on,
Coos, man? Good to see you in here, bro. Hope you're doing well. Silas, see you in here, man. Jim Santo, not score prediction, but he says WVU needs to get mean. That's one thing I 100% will agree with. I think that this team, though, I think that they showed in the first game a little bit more fight, a little bit more physicality than I'd seen previously throughout the Neil Brown era. Like I said, small sample size. We'll see what goes on throughout the rest of the season. But I think this team might have a little bit of an edge to them. We've talked about the bulletin board material they've had throughout the off-season, the motivating factors that they all seem like they have a chip on their shoulder. So hopefully we see that.
Well, I don't know if you guys seen the clips that Jed Drinning's been posting the past couple of days, but there was one specific clip where an offensive lineman for Penn State, quite clearly, I mean, he horse-collared the hell out of the defensive lineman, and just pulled him down from the back. And then as the guy's getting up, he kind of just goes over and pushes his head back into the ground. And, I mean, the guy just gets up and runs to the sideline. It was quite clearly both of them were cheap shots. And, I mean, like, I never condone fighting on the field, but you got to be a man. You can't let him run over you like that, man. Yeah. I absolutely agree. You got to get mean.
Yeah.
Did you just say he doesn't condone fighting on the field?
Okay, I may have done it a few times.
Coming from Steve,
the man that said, "Hey, at the pit game,
wait, what about? Let me ask you.
Throwing hands.
Wait. What about fighting?
No,
wait.
Cruz can vouch for me, man.
Wait, no, I got a question. What about fighting in sheets?
Listen. Okay, listen. On pit game days, especially after the game, if we lose, just don't be in the general vicinity because it's.
Listen, if we lose to Pitt and we're traveling back home and it's 2:00 in the morning at the Sheets parking lot, just stay the hell out of Stephen's way. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's not gonna be pretty. Yeah.
Oh man, hopefully a better result this time and a better road trip for us, Stephen.
I'm very much hoping so, man. Because we'll see. That's why I bring you guys along, because y'all gotta back me up. And well, you gotta have my back to myself and protect me from.
I absolutely did not that time, because I had been asleep. I had no idea what was happening, and then until after the fact, I was like, "What?"
Well, it's not one of my prouder moments, I'll tell you that. But
I was like trying to explain to my boss today, like the West Virginia Pitt scenario, and I was just like, because I'm taking some time off in some pretty busy season to go watch the game, because obviously. And I put my little note to him, and I typed it in to let him know that I was leaving. I put in there #ESP, and I typed it out, spit and everything. And I was telling him about it today, and he was like, I'd never really talked to him about football and how much I loved it, and that I do a podcast on the side and things like that. And I told him, I was like, I said, we say "eat shit Pitt." I said, so
ESP.
Keep that in your mind.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
That's what that
ESP. ESP.
That's the one thing that I've noticed. It's if you're not a part of this, you know what I mean? If you're not part of it on either side, you just don't really get it.
No.
I don't really know.
It's hard, and it's hard to explain too. You just kind of have to experience it.
Like I was talking to somebody about how, because Spit is just one. It's just one building. It's just one skyscraper in the middle of Pittsburgh, and they got to share their facilities. You know what I mean? They can't even get their freaking own. And then I was telling somebody about that one day, and how West Virginia, I was like, it's clearly the better school. You know what I mean? Like, it's clearly the cooler school. They were like, no, Pittsburgh's way cooler than Morgantown. I was like, hold on, wait. I didn't say anything about the town.
We're talking.
I didn't say nothing about the town. Quite clearly, Pittsburgh's got a lot on Morgantown. I love you, Morgantown, but it does. But the school, I think anyone could agree that, an entire city filled with a school is better than one skyscraper of, shit.
Exactly. And then, they're up there eating it too. So
that's what I'm saying, man. Like, I think it's sad. I think we should help them. I think, it's just sad how they've.
It's a problem. It's a problem.
And they really do that. The town really does smell like shit. I don't know if you. We've all been there. But.
Well, no, I've been. What am I talking about? I really was there last year.
I was just saying we were there. We were there.
I try to block it out, I guess.
Is Jeff Mullen worse than Neil Brown as a play caller?
I'd say yeah. I don't think anybody's worse than Jeff Mullen, but the Neil Brown offense, statistically, it's definitely the worst since Jeff Mullen.
I was going to say it's a close front runner, man.
But I don't think anything's worse than Jeff Mullen, because the proof's in the pudding there. Just look where he went after West Virginia. I think he spent like a year or two at Charlotte, and then where is he now? Nowhere.
So
well,
that's the thing. Where does Neil Brown go after this? If he's, I don't know. Never mind. We ain't gonna touch that yet. We ain't gonna touch that yet.
Too far out.
I don't want to touch that yet. Yeah.
Too far out. Let's see. See what else we got here. Oh, how about this? This is spicy. That that could set some people off.
Silas, I think me and Cruz have at least said that since about a year and a half after he left. We were quick to forgive that.
I think people are finally coming around. You've seen him on WVU podcast, and you've been hearing his name come up a lot lately. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want anybody to come at me. But yeah,
I would
Silas.
If you see Greg Schiano back on Rutgers sidelines, I don't think that there's any reason that you shouldn't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That it's such a crazy thought that he would end up back in Morgantown one day. I'm not saying it's going to work. I'm not big on recycling coaches, but right.
if he's one of the best available, then we'll see what happens. But hopefully we don't get to that point.
Right. I'm hoping that we have a Dabo Sweeney type turnaround over here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. You never know. What was it like year 6, 7 for him? I mean, it was around this time before he really.
Oh yeah, I mean. Clemson, poor guys are starting to get back in that realm because of what happened the other night. But the whole Clemsoning thing, that was a long time, man. Dabo was around for a long time. All that was happening before they started getting actually good.
Yeah, it was. Koo says WVU 42, Duquesne 10. That's close to mine. I was 45-14. And Silas right around the same area, 43-17. I'm going to try and come back and check this stream after the game and see who was the closest, and I'll let you guys know in the post-game podcast or one of the streams next week. Kenny says we don't lose to Pitt at home, period. Yeah, hopefully not. We'll get more in-depth on that next week, but yeah, I on the surface, I think, there's no way because it's going to mean a lot to this coaching staff, has to, and to this program, but I've been wrong before. We'll see.
Yeah.
Once I dive into Pitt more and we'll see what happens. I'm not going to get to watch their game against Cincinnati because it's around the same time as ours, but I'm definitely going to check that out and see how they look this week against some better Power 5 competition.
Yeah, because I'll just be honest. I don't think that they looked that impressive against Wofford last week. I'm biased, of course, but to me, they didn't do anything over the top that was going to make me believe that they could beat West Virginia.
Yeah, I think that this year we match up with them a lot better. They lost some guys, and I like our team, the makeup of it, better than I did last season overall, especially on defense. Ernie B says WVU 59-10. We have to start at least a 3-game win streak, hopefully more. Let's go Mountaineers. Appreciate you, Ernie. Let's go Mountaineers as always. I definitely think so too. This is the first of 3 straight home games. I think, for West Virginia to get to the 7-8 wins that, I think a lot of people are hoping to see West Virginia get to, and maybe think Neil Brown needs to get to probably at least 7. In my head, because I think if you're Ren Baker, you're looking at the program. He's been here 4 years. He's only won 5 or 6 games every year. If he's here in year 5 and can't get over that hump and win 7, whether that means going 6-6 in the regular season and then winning a bowl game, then it's going to be hard for him to do that, long term, or have any more success than that. So I think for you to be able to do that, you probably need to come out of these next 3 games 3-0 and be 3-1 heading into that road game at TCU. What do you think, Brad?
So that's actually my prediction from the season prediction roundtable. I had us winning the next 3 games and doing it for the first time under Neil Brown.
Which it would be the first time. That's the thing.
Have that, Brad.
And Kenny says he believes we will win the next 3 games. Stephen, any thoughts there though, as far as this 3-game homestand?
I think we can win the next 3 games. I don't really like to do the whole "we will" thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't want to.
I feel like I put bad juju just myself whenever I do it. There's been just to let you guys know, there's one time in my life when I've bet on a West Virginia I've never bet on a West Virginia football game, but only one time I've bet on a West Virginia sporting event. And in the 6th grade, West Virginia was undefeated. I think they were 10-0. And I bet a kid at school that I guaranteed that they were going to beat Villanova that night, and they got slaughtered. So ever since then, I've never touched it.
To this day,
I don't blame you.
To this day, I'm ruined.
It'll break your heart. That's one thing that they say always stay away from. Don't bet on your
how
favorite
much did you
team.
lose? Did you say $10?
How much was it? $20, I think.
That's $20 is $20.
I was gonna say $20 when we was in 6th grade, son. That was a lot of money. A lot of ice creams, my G.
No, but that was a great point, Brad, though. I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, we need to win these next 3 games, and it's 3 in a row at home. So, ideally at home, hopefully you can win. We only play 6 games at home this season, so that would be awesome to start off winning half of them right here in September. But, Neil Brown has been at WVU since 2019, and we've yet to win 3 games in a row in a season. So
it would be Texas Tech too. So it's like 2.
It would be big for him. It would be
a win off the shoulder.
Exactly. Then we would be 3-1, which would probably be the best record I'd say we've had in September. Coming out of September, of course we'd have one more game there going to TCU, but it'd be big. He'd get 3 wins in a row, finally beat Texas Tech, and that would maybe quiet some of the naysayers, get more people in his corner, and he could get his seat cooled down a little bit. Because I think without that, it's going to only get hotter, especially. Like we said, that game against Pitt is what it's all.
I was going to say, I think that the Pitt game, if you win that game, your seat gets massively cooler, at least for the time being.
Yeah.
I think people would very much be happy with that win, especially if you do it significantly. I think a lot of people in our fan base would be like, "All right, we're good for right now."
Yeah, I think so too. Valley Independent Baptist Church, appreciate you guys. Says their youth group says 70-7 WVU. Hey, there you go, from y'all's mouth to God's ears. Hopefully, it is true, 70-7. Hopefully so.
I'm hoping so.
Who says $20 is a lot of money at 12?
Hey man, I'm telling you.
I'd be upset if I lost $20 now.
I think I cried a little bit, man. I was very upset about it at the time.
I'm right there with you, man. 100%. Let's see. I did have a couple things I wanted to share, little numbers wise here. We'll wrap it up before too much longer, but appreciate everyone that's tuned in here with us live. One more reminder, if you're in here live or in a playback, hit that thumbs up button. Really helps us. If you're a West Virginia fan, college football fan, Big 12 fan, be sure to subscribe. Helps us, helps you, helps get more of this Mountaineer sports content out to Mountaineer Nation. Drop your score predictions for WVU versus Duquesne in the chat one more time. We'll catch up on those before we get out of here. But having said that, I wanted to share this. I'm sure you guys probably saw this. West Virginia football shared on their social media, but pretty impressive stat. And first of all, Lee Cobb was absolutely a jacked human being.
My dog is.
But,
oh man,
wouldn't want to
don't mess
go
with
up against him in an arm wrestling match. But excuse me. 13 tackles in 3 straight games dating back to last season for Lee Coba, and it's the first time that's happened at WVU since 1998. So definitely
think about
something
that.
Positive there.
You might turn around and do it again for another 3 games straight.
You never know. I mean, think of how impressive of a stat that is. I mean, think about the linebacking core that we've had at West Virginia over the years. I mean, you got Grant Wiley, you got Tony Fields, I'm forgetting a lot of them in there, but I mean, like,
David Long.
David Long. Oh my gosh.
And he racked up a ton of tackles.
Yeah, and he was elite, and it felt like David Long was literally on every tackle that was ever made while he was on the field.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that is an absolutely impressive stat to me.
Well, he's going to have a big season, I think, guys, because he just had 13 tackles against Penn State. So, it's going to be a good year for him, I think.
Hey, I'll go ahead. I picked him as my breakout player last year on the roster. We'll just roll that over to this year. Just say I was right about it.
Right, might as well. And then I think I had one more thing here. Oh, this was more just game info for anybody that goes up, season ticket holders or people going up this Saturday to the home opener, etc. Something pretty cool, actually. WVU going digital with their game day football programs. QR codes are available around the stadium on play cards and video boards for access to the free program each day. All of the issues can also be found at wvusports.com/publications.
So you can't buy the
Sean
program
Martin
anymore. It's going to be digital.
It's free and it's digital. You can just scan the QR code or you can go to the website.
I like collecting those, man. That kind of stinks.
That's one thing that I'm not a fan of is a lot of digital things. I'm a physical media guy. I still buy Blu-rays, 4Ks, collect those. All my video games, I still buy the physical media discs. I rarely listen to music, but if I do, I buy the actual CD. I'm just that type. So yeah, I'm right there with you.
Well, I mean, I've still got I've got Gator Bowl programs and Meineke Car Care bowl programs that I've still got from back in the day. I love collecting these things because then you can go back and media guides are cool, but then
Oh,
you can go
okay.
back
No.
and see specifically what was going on at that point in the season back, at what year.
Speaking of, there's a 1999 Mountaineer football guide.
Hey, that's a cool one to have.
Nealon and Bulger.
So that's 1 year off from the 1998 record we just learned about.
Yeah, that's true. Right there, you go. What a coincidence!
I wonder who was the guy in '98 that had that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know off the top of my head. Nah.
How
How about Sean Martin though, being on the first
I'm gonna
program
look
of the
that up.
game, Mercer County's own?
Hey,
Out at Bluefield High
I'm
School.
proud of my guy. Proud of my
That's
guy,
awesome.
man.
That's awesome. I think he's gonna have a
Proud
big
of
year
him.
as well.
Watched every single game he had his senior year.
Yeah, I think
He's
he's
already
gonna
having
have
a
a
big
big
year,
year
in
as well.
my opinion. He had a good game against Penn State.
He did. He stood out every time.
I'm gonna look
every
up the
time he
guy
was
that had
involved.
that. I'm looking up the guy that had that 13 tackles. By the way,
Timothy says Lee's a stud. Silas says he's a beast. I know Kobe is, man. He's a beast. He's a beast. All right. So that's pretty much all I had stories wise. Appreciate everybody that's chimed in with the score predictions. Go ahead, drop your score predictions for West Virginia Duquesne one more time if you'd like to. Of course, the game coming up. I want to remind you guys this Saturday. It's going to kick off at 6 p.m. Televised on ESPN Plus. Home opener, family day there at Mountaineer Field. Or of course, if you don't have ESPN Plus, you could catch the radio broadcast. But one more time, drop your score predictions in the chat if you haven't already. We'll share them on the screen before we get out here. But last thing I want to ask you guys, gentlemen, is, of course, our little fun topic that we always like to do on these game week Q&A streams, and that's first play of the game and who scores the first touchdown for the Mountaineers in this game against Duquesne. Steven, you want to lead it off?
Outside zone CJ.
Outside zone CJ for the first play. Let's run through first play, then we'll hit first touchdown.
Can't quit it. Also,
Brad,
before
play?
Bradley goes, Barrett Green is the guy that got that. He had 20, 13, and 18.
I should have known. I was thinking somebody like that, but I wasn't sure if that was 98 or not.
Yeah, I totally would have got that in our multiple choice question.
I know. Hey, we're bringing that back soon, by the way, for the fans out there.
That's a big reason why Steven ran away, everybody, is because he was getting beat up too bad in multiple choice.
Yeah, that's why I took my months long hiatus.
Well, that's funny because that's what Steven said
it.
this week. Steven said that's why you didn't come on this week. It's because he was going to bring it back.
Yep.
Yeah, I was just trying to spare you for one more week. What was the question? What did you say?
Let's do first play of the game. What do you think first play is going to be?
Yeah, I'm gonna say go route for Rodney Gallagher.
Wow.
I love
Okay,
it.
that's bold. That's bold. I like it. Would you say outside zone to CJ?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to say that we're going to go inside zone to CJ. Well, one of us will probably be right there. But now let's go touchdown. Let's go touchdown, and we'll go reverse order this time. So I'll go, then Brad, and Steven. First touchdown of the game in this one. I'm going to think it's going to be a passing touchdown. I'm going to say we're going to hit play action, and we're going to see Cole Taylor's first touchdown as a Mountaineer. That's what I'm going with in this one.
Okay.
Brad?
I'm going to go real crazy with it, and I'm going to say go route with Rodney Gallagher.
Oh, so he's going
first play of the game.
He's going first play of the game is a
Okay.
touchdown deep ball to Rodney. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
Let's blow that thing open, early on. I like it.
Steven, what you got, man?
I like the play action, but I'm going over the middle to Devin Carter.
Okay. Over the middle, Devin Carter for 6.
I don't, for whatever reason.
We're all three going passing TD though. That's surprising.
Like I said, it better not be. I don't want to see run.
For whatever reason, I want to go Horton, but my heart says Carter.
Horton's. I think Horton will be out till Pitt. I think actually.
Well, see, that's why I'm going Carter.
I'm pretty sure, but I think Polk's going to be back though.
Okay,
Polk's supposed to play. I think.
I don't know why I thought I seen he was going to be back for this game.
Probably had them both in the same injury report and just got them mixed up. But I'm glad to see at least one of them get back.
Rodney vertical for a touchdown.
There you go, on the same page as you.
I like it, man. We're going to win the next 3 games, and we're going to get a Rodney Gallagher vertical. Me and Kenny, we're just on the same page, man.
Absolutely. And then we got Timothy. He says first touchdown will be a kickoff return. I wouldn't rule that out. Out. We got some guys that they say can make play. Beanie Bishop was back there. He didn't get a chance to return any. Pokes.
I was going to say, we didn't get a chance to see it last week.
And when they've talked about Jaheim White, we've got a lot of guys that I think could be good kick returners.
Preston Fox.
So, yeah, Preston Fox on the punt return. Yeah. He made some plays last year. So, I think there's going to be a play made on special teams in this game. That's my bold prediction. I don't know if it's going to be a return or a block or something. I don't
think it's so bold either. I think that what you've seen out of that. Look, I know we didn't get back there, but we came dangerously close to blocking to blocking at least one of those punts. It looked like to me too.
Well, Neil Brown said on that one that if their hand, whoever was in their hands would have been together, they would have blocked it. It went right through the hands. So yeah, I agree. And special teams has been good past couple seasons. Return game lacking a little bit, but I think they may have corrected that this season. We'll see. But
Yeah, Anthony Del Negro soaking up a lot of pressure.
He's going to block one. Mountaineer guy says he still thinks we can pull out 8 wins this season. Big 12 isn't looking too strong. That's my silver lining as well. I don't think that there's, outside of maybe Oklahoma, because, West Virginia doesn't play what I've probably got as, arguably the top 2 teams in the conference this year, Kansas State and Texas. I think almost every game left on West Virginia's schedule is winnable, especially after sticking with Penn State for, nearly 3 quarters like they did.
I don't know. I think UCF's still good. I think TCU, even what they've. I think they're a better team than what people are thinking they are right now. I think they're going to be a lot better coming out of that game.
Yeah, but I don't see them blowing us out.
No, I don't see that. But I don't. I don't know. I think after week 1, just as much as you can't tell what kind of team West Virginia is after that, I think that we got to give it 1 or 2 weeks before I can. Really.
Yeah, you can't forget that West Virginia plays the level of their opponent. It doesn't matter how good somebody is.
I was going to say they played right with Alabama for 3 quarters when we played down there, man.
Yeah.
And we always have that one game where we, shit the bed against somebody usually.
My prediction that year is Baylor at the end of the season.
That could be because, Baylor looks down this year and they'll probably be down and then beat us. That's like last year, us and Iowa State were at the bottom of the conference and then they came out and looked like world beaters against us. Was like beat us by 30 plus.
They always seem to for whatever reason. I don't know
until
what Iowa State and us.
Daggy got it done against Iowa State. He's one of the only ones ever since they started beating us.
I'll tell you, it's these random quarterbacks that
WVU
can get
legend,
you over this hump.
Daggy.
That's one thing I'm going to get is a Skylar Howard jersey because he's only want to get us to 10 wins wins in the Big 12.
I've got one. That's my dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's always been your dude.
That's one of my all-time favorite Mountaineers because he had a heart bigger than this box that my picture's in.
And we never appreciated him. We always talked about him not being good enough.
People are finally coming around now, like 7 years later, at least now.
But
People
that's
are
what
Oh my gosh, Tyler Howard was good. And it's like,
But that's what I wish people would learn is to stop harping on these kids when they're here and appreciate them while they're here. And I get it. Like, we want to see them win. I get that. But, I mean, they're kids, man. Like,
no, because it's about us. It's not about them. It's about how they make us feel.
It's about how they make us feel.
Right. So one more time, our score predictions for the game against Duquesne, in case you didn't catch them in our preview podcast. But please do us a favor. Go check that out if you haven't already. Video version here on YouTube. It's going to be up on WVSportsNow.com tomorrow, most likely as well. And it's out on all audio podcast platforms now. Also catch it on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. Just search Country Roads Webcast. Subscribe to us there. Subscribe to us here on YouTube. But check out our podcast episode if you haven't already. But what was your guys' score prediction one more time for the viewers here, Brad?
Yeah, I went with 45-7.
Steven?
Oh, you're going to make me do it. I think he did this on purpose. I said 45-30.
I think you said 42-30. It was something like
42?
It might have been.
It was very admittedly, it was very disrespectful to West Virginia.
I know somebody in the comments said something on the video. I couldn't even defend
I'm
you,
sure
bro.
they did. I want them to.
I couldn't even defend you,
I
man.
want it to be such an
I don't know.
outlandish thought that West Virginia could keep it that close of a game. That's what I want because that's where we're at right now.
Well,
honestly,
I don't blame you. And also if you're using reverse psychology, that hopefully it means that we completely shut them out or something.
Well, I thought that they were going to keep it a close game against Penn State. I predicted a 3-point game. Didn't happen. So,
Well, let's do it the other way around now.
Yeah, let's do it the other way around.
Yeah. Awesome. And I went 45-14. So appreciate everyone that's tuned in. Kenny, one more time, throwing his in 67-0. Appreciate your super chat during this stream, Kenny. Appreciate everyone that's chimed in with their score predictions here. Dwayne Mattern throwing one in here late, 52-10. He says with the Duquesne scores coming late. So hopefully a lot of these score predictions are close to in line with what happens. Got the Mountaineers coming out on top by large margins, and that's what we like to see and what we're hoping to see this Saturday. Like we said, home opener, family day. You can watch it on ESPN Plus. Kickoff at 6 p.m. We're looking forward to the second WVU game of the season, but want to remind you guys that immediately following the game, catch us back here on YouTube for the post-game show. With the 6 p.m. start time, we're probably looking at around 9:30 for us hopping on here for the post-game show. Come join with us, chat with us, talk about what we've seen in the game, share your thoughts about what it means for the rest of the West Virginia season, and kind of give us your review of the game. And it's always fun to chat with you guys after. So come back, do that with us immediately following the game. And then, of course, we'll have podcast episodes releasing after the game, player grades, snap counts, etc. But appreciate everyone coming on here as we got your predictions, talked a little bit about the game, and shared some Mountaineer news, both in football and basketball. Be sure to follow us all on Twitter/X at Big Bubba Brad CRW for our man Brad up there in the top right. Steven on the bottoms at Pitt Still Sucks. You can follow me at Cruise Control WV and follow the show at WVU Country Roads. Having said that, gentlemen, any final thoughts, anything you want to throw in here before we wrap up this September 7th live stream here on the Country Roads webcast? You got anything, Steven?
I would like to add, I do not think that they're going to score 30 points on us. I want to just reiterate that fact. I know how outlandish that sounds, but I'm sticking to it, man.
Hey,
I'm sticking to it.
That's what I like. I like a man that sticks to his guns, but I get it. It's mine. It's mind games.
I predicted I'm sticking to it. I'm not changing.
You just said, I don't think they're actually going to score 30 points, but I'm still going to.
But I'm still going to predict it.
And I told you why.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Jordan ready with him.
Yeah, with the soundboard ready for that one.
Hey.
Brad, any final thoughts?
Strategies.
No, man. I'm ready for the let's go.
Hey, let's do it, man. Let's get out of here. Looking forward to the next live stream. We'll be back next week again, and we'll be talking about the big one, the Backyard Brawl coming up. Hopefully after a win over Duquesne, hopefully a big one where we improved in the areas we looked deficient in game one, and hopefully we resemble the old adage that you improve your most from week 1 to week 2, and we get into a successful West Virginia Mountaineers football season where we can really get rolling over this 3-game home stretch that we talked about, starting with this one against Duquesne and then rolling into the second consecutive team we'll play from Pittsburgh, Pitt. We'll be back to talk about that one next week, as well as reviewing this one, and appreciate you guys joining us. Come back, join us again following the game for the post-game show. Plenty of live streams coming throughout the season, plenty of Mountaineer sports content for my co-hosts Steven and Bradley. As always, I'm Jordan Cruz, and until next time, let's go Mountaineers.